on, but now let's get it started. Let's get on over to our first match of the day over on Miramar.
I cannot wait to get started on Miramar. This is going to be so much fun, but the adaptation, the adjustments is what I'm really looking forward to, especially from Group B now that C is coming in.
Definitely. As we said, there are a couple of teams down there in the bottom of yesterday's leaderboard that need to fare well today in order to secure their spots for the finals. There's no second elimination, no more chances. You play today, you fail, you're out.
And it's brutal, but really it does show the teams that are able to adjust and adapt at the highest level. And we've seen teams that have been able to do that in the past fail in other events. And so it's the consistency that we're really looking for.
Definitely.
As we now go to this plane, it is fairly even a little bit to the north side, but hot drops, I don't imagine we're going to see, Toby, but what I do imagine we'll see is rotational pains in the early game.
I have to get used to a green petrichor road. I'm looking at the map
Always
and I go,
blue,
wait
right?
a minute, that's new to me. But I'm sure we'll be fine with it down the line. Petrichor, as we heard from the desk, getting Salute Power Grid. They've fought forward with TSM forever. Today, TSM ain't here. So they'll happy that they get to take this spot for themselves.
Well, TSM will actually just go off to Northern Martine.
Yeah.
Won't even have to deal with them, as you said. And Luna Galaxy will get the majority share, or actually all of El Pozo. And then you even have BB Team just up there to the north in Cabrera.
Chilling towards the north. I love what we heard from, nice Eastern Circle, but I love what we heard from Cami during the pre-game desk as well, in how TSM has oftentimes set up these sort of camp positions. And we only have to go a tournament and a half back to when Petrichor Boat was fighting FaZe Clan in and around Puksan and Takeover.
Right there.
And who was always over there peeking? It was TSM. So I think Petrichor, knowing that TSM is in the nearby vicinity, they're definitely going to have an extra eye open just to make sure that Purdy and the boys don't come looking for.
And to credit Purdy and the boys, I mean, those are adaptations that they've been making over years of playing this game and setting up those traps, learning other teams' tendencies, and Kurt has been doing this for so long, so it's still good to see the evolution as a player who is so old.
But now, as the players, so old.
I love
wow. What is he, 4 years younger?
He's a vet, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, he is. He definitely is. Now the players are on the ground and have started their looting game. Relo is going to start rotating further towards the east again. I mean, Falcons, there's that dead center in this first circle. And I will encourage everyone, of course,
this time,
to have the map stream open and pay attention to what happens there as well. Because while it's, of course, amazing to watch the rotations, all the cinematic views of what we're getting here, it is also crucial to keep track of exactly how all these rotations pan out.
As we stated yesterday, I mean, one of the big issues when you're given center circle in first circle is where do you actually set up? Where do you play? How do you want to split? Is this risky? Can we cover the other split from this position?
I mean, to answer your question, Falcons had this exact scenario yesterday on the eastern side. It wasn't a Wrangle, not a Miramar, but they came up victorious. So let's see if maybe they picked the right spot this time again.
Exactly. I'd love to see them replicate that success from yesterday. As you said, they were looting over towards the east side, really towards Lipovka, and they managed to make that work for themselves.
Definitely did. Definitely did. Again, the teams are getting looted. We have had no early contest, not even fight for vehicles. Actually, a little bit unusual.
This is a little more docile than I expected,
I would say. E-Arena's Lyrics here on the eastern coast, a bit further north than his team, but I like the fact that he's actually gone all the way up here. He wasn't here initially, but opts to move further north early on. Where he's currently positioned is a spot that teams tend to set up these sort of gatekeep positions, ambush sites if you want. And Lyrics being here early on is here to make sure Na'Vi doesn't come down, set up a trap towards him, and effectively allowing for his teammates to rotate when they get the loot that they need.
Exactly. It's a perfect foothold for them to rotate in and look for E-Arena to do this as well. I mean, yes, we saw them with a lot of success with E-pickups in their last couple events, but if they don't get those, they tend to play on the slow side. They tend to go towards the edge, look for a window in, similar to the way that we used to see Falcons play in the past, where they would find that perfect opportunity and then send it in. And so I have very much been impressed with the way that they have kind of evolved and even just been consistent over the last year.
Well, Guangdong Freaks set currently in 27. It looks good because they're 12th, but of course they want to stay up there in the top. They're spotting one, and it's Flood early on. Caught out of position, was getting ready to rotate, but Freaks had other plans in mind. They come up, they take him out.
And Bean was so phenomenal yesterday for this team, and he really saved them in one of those last Erangel games, so look for him to continue that success and pulling the Freaks forward.
Allowing to rotate forward, and crucial timing for the side of Freaks as well, because They heard the vehicles from Valentine. They knew that there was another team in the nearby vicinity, but able to jump on it early. Flood, of course, caught out in the open. Not where you want to be in this situation, but in all fairness, not really a whole lot he could do to avoid the situation. He heard the cars from Valentine and realized, now it's my time to move. The car was parked in the right spot, but little did he know, Freaks was already there, ready and waiting. And
we're already seeing quite a few teams now start to bunch up towards the center of this circle, and this one can be somewhat tough. I mean, it's the center direct where we see Falcons currently sitting it's very mountainous, right? There's a lot of ridges, there's a lot of spots that teams could overlook and potentially cut off rotations. And speaking of which, we now are with 17 chasing a very alone Ibiza.
Yep, he's running around the open fields by himself, but suppressive fire is being applied as shots come in from the north. The VP teammates trying to get their, well, tallest guy in the server, I should argue, back towards the rest of them, 17 Gaming. So, you know what, fair, you can stay up there. We're inside the circle. We'll chill on the southern side for a while before we move further.
The southern side is getting a little busy. You also have Valley Tyler, Navi just off to the east, but I'm now looking towards the north side of this as we see 17 just comfortably rotating in. You now have TSM actually rotating right there on Death Road with all gamers just above them to the north, and we know how difficult this trench can be to play.
And just to stay on TSM for a bit, as we saw that rotation come through, we actually saw it from him yesterday, where many teams will send out a scout, kind of prepare a trail for the team to follow. For 17 Gaming, yesterday it was pretty much exclusively rotate on the go. No one's the spirit of this operation. We just go as a bunch, and then we pull up on teams if we have to, which yesterday on the Stalker game worked out perfectly. On the Shelter game, not quite so much, because sometimes when you run into a fight early on and you're opting to go for some of these center positions, you get into a lot of trouble early if you just full commit.
Well, perfect example was 17 yesterday in the very first game. They were trying to rotate past and they got absolutely shredded.
Yep. Exactly. T1 on your screens now, and as we are watching them, and as we were alluding to before, let's break them down a bit, because this really is, in my opinion, the roster, and it's going to sound rude, but it's not meant that way. This is the roster of leftovers. The byproduct of the Danawa explosion, or implosion if you want. These are the boys. And I mean, Zenith and Deva, they get dropped by D+ Kia. Soul comes in, he wants a whole new roster. He says, D+, I'm gonna make my own team, boot the rest of them. Then you have Ian, he was on Freaks, but then all of a sudden Salute comes in. Ian, we don't need you anymore.
Bye-bye.
Salute is gonna do his thing. And then him and Raiden, of course, join in forces on Beyond Stratus, having Zenith and Deva come in as well. And then, due to good results on the side of Beyond Stratus, go T1 wants us.
Hey, come
Beyond
back.
Stratus goes, wait, you don't want to stay with us anymore? You want T1 instead? And, well, I mean, for good reason. Now they're T1. A lot more can be said, of course, by Rainen. In Korea, we have seen it before where top-level players are forced into military service. Happened to Rainen as well. He was, I don't want to say at the prime of his career, but playing really well on a good trajectory. Forced for a year and a half out of competitive play, gets a chance back in with LaVega again, and fortunate for him, got to play longer, and even more so fortunate for him, able to play here. And not only am I looking forward to see what this T1 roster can do, but they have Alphaka as their coach. You might remember him as a former player for Gen G when they finished third in PGIS. I think it's amazing to have some of these former players with not just kind of players that couldn't keep up with the game and left the game, but players that were actually at the top of the game, turn coach with a full understanding of what the players go through on a global scene. I want to see him be there for the boys in this tournament.
And that's the most important thing that you bring up, is that they all have experience. Exactly. They all have experience at a high level, and they have a coach that has experience at a very high level, placing well at global events. And so this is going to really be an opportunity for them coming together, as you said, kind of the leftovers, to prove that, hey, we're actually a very good entity on our own.
Yeah, definitely. Here they come. Down towards the southern side of this first circle. Again, not in a hurry so far. I love the fact that Takeoff Me Arena's all the way down the ocean, or out in the ocean, picking up a crate right now. You might as well do it. I mean, if you can't scout while you're driving, might as well scout from the
could
water.
Be trouble, though.
And they would have wanted to scout, because as we just saw a peek of there, 17 Gaming has actually opted to set up on the shorelines.
And they definitely see this, so this could very much spell trouble for E-Arena, as two of the members, as you stated, still very far off in the ocean.
Yep, definitely our Takeoff out there by himself for now. In the meantime, towards the western side of, well, I guess the circle center, Chewy is going to try and get out of this one. Heard the vehicles from Virtus Pro coming over the hillside, and for good reason, not really enjoying the spot that he was in with a shack and nothing left to play. So he's going to dip, try and fall back, and fortunately for him, just in time before they peeked over.
Meanwhile, Virtus Pro has found some members of Petrichor and now putting a little bit of damage out there as well to make sure that they kind of rotate away and just leave them alone. This is a good position there, and I like the split as well. You have EB on the west side, and look at that shift. So much water is still in play.
One thing is water, of course, making it hard to rotate east, but look at the rotations all these teams have west. Look at the congestion of teams towards truck stop right now. They're all rotating over a hilltop. This is a perfect overhead view. Petrichor trying to make their way south around. This road that we're seeing going east to west is it's unscoutable of what's on the other side. So you're playing full face first into these fights right now, which is why Chewy is going to fall. It's impossible for Petrichor to scout it, but Ixlift able to take down Heaven on approach.
Oh no!
Gets taken out. Human. I mean, just bumped off the rope by Summer.
And Heaven with 2 beautiful knocks will immediately get turned around with that run over. Ixlift now will get a flush, and it's just down to Salute.
What a fight. You would imagine Quantum Freaks was ready for this, but I mean, Petrichor, they came in from so many different angles that it was just impossible for them to keep track, and now, caught with the flash in hand, Ming finds that one easily. Salute down, Freaks down, and that is not the start that Freaks were looking for here on day 2.
Not at all, and we saw it yesterday. The Sonics were in a similar position when it came to New Happy, but you'll take that one-player trade for 4 all day long, and so Petrichor, although losing Chewy, will have 4 kills to start this one off.
Yep, losing 1, but again, I mean, an unscoutable approach, so incredibly hard to really know exactly what you're running into. You see 4AM initially looking to do somewhat of the same thing. Now, stuck on the hillsides down towards the Impala fields. It's not a fun place to be, especially not phase 2, and especially when you're coming in from that north side and you haven't had a chance, well, really clear the area at all.
Right, and there's really nothing to play there at all, especially in those fields, and with Impala just looming in the distance. I mean, there's a lot of angles you can get shot from, as 4AM now will find themselves dead center of this circle in a position that is somewhat holdable, but very open, especially if we're talking about their west side opening.
Yeah. Cerberus as well, rotating on through. Had themselves a, I'd say pretty decent day yesterday. 32 points, of course. I mean, for Cerberus, then that's not perhaps the result they were looking for, but fielding a new player in Dogmeyer on the roster, and obviously some things that still has to be figured out. I think they can be, albeit maybe not satisfied, but also not disappointed with a 32-point first day.
Oh, not at all. As we now see E-Arena, who have dislodged themselves from that scuffle that they were in with 17, and so they've actually gotten themselves in a position here now where they're starting to harass BB Team, and that's going to be a knock on Bestalosh.
Yeah. Damage done early on, of course, not going to amount to a whole lot more, but it feeds info across to E-Arena of what's happening in front of them. And I think that, I mean, goes straight into what you were saying before coming into this game. E-Arena is playing extremely calculated.
Yes.
PUBG not taking chances. You had Lyrics up there scouting first. Now they sent one more forward, get a knock onto Bestalosh. It's going to set them up for the rotation to come in the meantime here. TSM spotting Quizzy from Virtus Pro, now in the vehicle, in the open as well. Sparkin is able to take him out.
And we've spoken so much about Sparking and the mechanical skill that he has, and he does not disappoint, as that's going to be a knock and an easy finish for TSM, and a great position as well for them to take at least this early. They're going to be on the west side, and they can use this to wait to see what the next circle shift is going to be, and they can either go north or south if they so choose.
And it's so incredibly inconvenient to lose a guy in this situation. Look at the amount of control.
But look at the
Virtus
split
Pro had on this western side, and that's the thing, right? They had all the space they knew. A circle potentially like this was bound to happen. So having one guy on the low ground, a couple of guys up on the high ground as well. We talked about that whole hillside. It's hard if you don't have control of both sides. You can't really see over the other. So for Virtus Pro in a phenomenal position just before, losing one here, that is a big loss for them.
And Falcons, meanwhile, although they find themselves in a good position now, they will have to contend potentially with FaZe or All Gamers, although they're pretty comfortable in truck stop, all things considered. Now E-Arena again finding that window, and I was going to say getting through unscathed, but Jacob will fall.
Yep, Hagatori, phenomenal playing yesterday. Top damage dealer, I believe, in all of yesterday's games. Now, kicking things off early on here as well as Fairist is able to find one more. Lyrics goes down.
And T1 now starting to crash the position of 17. Xiao Wu will be turned on by Zenith. Raining and Alpaca now coming into the bottom of the building with Xiaobei is there to receive.
17 full up on this one. T1 trying to defend as Rainin comes creeping on forward, able to get the first one down. Xiaobei fall and will get the flush onto him as well. Where do you go from here? He spots the nade, has to fall back. Suju fully flashed on this one, and Rainin goes down, but it's Himas from the other side.
Himas, huge Huge reprieve there given to the team of 17 as now Reigning is done and dusted.
Yeah, this is tricky. There should be no way for Ian to come over and get him back on his feet. Solo player left alive. All he can do is see the guys on the other side and go, oh, that's my teammate down
and
there.
These long buildings are notoriously difficult to push through. It's really, truly a pain. You have one long hallway. Essentially, Ian has to be careful. Only 1 HP on this tree.
Na'Vi, of course, very, very quick, realizing what's happening to the south, down towards their south. We'll look down here. We'll get eyes on, and it's actually going to be Little Ghost able to take out Ian. So that's T1. First game for them here in this one, but not the start they would have wanted either.
Meanwhile, VP has dismantled TSM. What has happened there? Ibiza going down, but that should be an easy res for them.
I mean, they lose one to TSM, sorry, and then they go,
payback.
I mean, we lose one. You want to fight us 3 or 4? Sure, come at it. We got a P90. What you going to do?
Clearly nothing.
Not a whole lot. I mean,
clearly not a whole lot.
They knocked EB, fair enough, but that door was shut very quickly, immediately after, as Lugowix found himself the double, and now towards the center we go. E-Arena in control of this building, which has, in control of this dip on the other side of the road from 4AM. 4AM, of course, want to get rid of them, but knowing that Na'Vi is in the compound just to their east, it's really limited what they can do from here. Outside of just, again, I mean, as you see here, try to keep everyone at a distance.
Yeah, that being said, I do like their split with GodV and HSMM watching the east and west sides of this, and then you have Zhao Pian and Bobo just kind of keeping eyes on the other two members of E-Arena they saw rotate in.
Yep, we'll see now as Circle Pups go Snuff and FaZe trying to defend their position against Luna Galaxy. It will swing down towards southeast. Na'Vi sat dead center in this one.
Yeah, meanwhile, you also see BB Team just kind of entangled a little bit with Cerberus, and that's going to be on the very east edge. And BB Team, this is very much like them, right? They take their time as well, similar to the way that E-Arena does. They are very comfortable on the edge. If they find an opportunity to go in center, they will. But generally, this is where we will see BB Team control their side of the circle, then slowly start to push their way in as it shifts.
Couldn't have said it any better myself, Sir Godspeed. As we look over to Sir T. Sir Thomas, if you want, as AG Global makes the way up the hillside. Falcons, a great move trying to get off this hillside, right into the open arms of FaZe, but they will make landfall down to the containers on the southern side of the compound.
FaZe is a team that desperately needs these points. They did not have a stellar day one. 22 points though now, still. Opportunity is there. The door is open.
Now over towards AG Gaming, All Global Gaming, trying to take out E-Arena in this dip we saw just before. Sissy instantly peeks on over, finds Test early on. Whereas Tycon in this fight, they need him to be the spearhead of this operation. Sapao able to get one in return, but this is what we're talking about just before 4 AM, wanting a piece of this action. They've been waiting for this to happen, and now they will engage as well.
And great timing as well. They will find quite a few kills, quite a few knocks, some points there to be had as AGG is just trying to recover at this point. Tycon and Sir T, the only ones still standing with Zest knocked, trying to stabilize in this position, and they still have to get rid of Zizzy.
They could just clear Zizzy. They would know that this entire dip was free for them to play around Zizzy with them.
That was a nice molly, and that should be it.
It's going to be down to 1 HP. Didn't get connected onto by the molly. Initially, I thought it had him, but not to be. That nade, though, should have his name written all over it, and it does. Tycon takes out Zizzy. E-Arena out in 13th place.
Good night, sweet prince. Did what you could, Zizzy. As we now move back to the Falcons phase now, with some very noisy neighbors here just above. Snaker's gonna peek over with that MG3, and that is a disgusting gun to be using up close. Fax will fall.
They're in a 4v2, but now it's a 2v2. One goes down in return. Gustav peeks on over, gets the eyes on Torello, but it's taken down by Tycon at a distance. They clear Falcons, but not without taking a lot of casualties off their own.
And the cost was huge. Luna Galaxy has been watching over this position, just waiting, and that is it. FaZe is out. What a pickup from Luna.
Luna Galaxy peeked down, they sent Posa in to scout. They lose one, they go, oh no, we can never get in there. But wait, what if we stay on the hill and wait for them to move? All of a sudden, with the engagement coming in from the side, Falcons pushing up, Luna Galaxy, I mean, they knew exactly how to take advantage of that position. Solid plays coming through, and a good thank you note for taking out one of their teammates earlier.
Yeah. A little payback from way back as we see Petrichord Road here on the west side of this circle, currently holding out VP, who is in quite a bit of trouble. Valley Tie as well, just to their south, with a position to move in here and a nice ridge to play. Yeah. Especially with Petrichord now rotating to, never mind, as that circle shifts, it goes all the way south. So now Valley Tie with the opportunity to be gatekeepers.
You see surprisingly many people in vehicles right now. That's because that's all the cover they have. there is nothing on that hillside to really play, especially when it comes to north and south. The hills in this area on the southern side of Navi's compound work well to protect you from east and west, but when it comes to like the northern and south sides, it's practically impossible. It's just lines running vertically on the map for you to try and grant yourself some cover in.
And if you're Na'Vi, you could not be happier right now as 4AM now gatekeeping all gamers just to their north, and this is going to be a difficult approach because even if they want to go to the west side, they're still going to have to contend with Valley Tide. The north may be a long wrap, but then they'd have to run into BB Team or Cerberus, and so a fight may be the only option. Is look at Ike's left.
Yeah, they're all creeping forward. Finally, we will see the fall of Nixie. A little more space now granted, a little sigh of relief for Valatai as Kiss is able to take him out. This is where it gets tricky for these teams that have, there's been so much commotion through the mid-game that I would imagine some of these teams have lost exact track of the kill feed. Therefore, always got to be extra careful for snakes. Every time you peek over into a noob dip, there might be a guy lying there waiting for you.
And how many times have we seen a snake just absolutely ruin a game for a full four-man?
Oh, yeah. Ike's left now, lining up some util. They know that they have AGG over on the other side, and that nade had Seth's name on it. Takes him down instantly, and that should come with a push to follow.
Hell of a start, but they have to be careful of 4AM, who do have angles onto this, and you see them starting to flex out with the opportunity there. Tycon stuck between a nade and a hard place, and he will go down.
Yep, Ming falling though. Nice timing on the side of Valatai to peek over as they started their rotation. Ike's left nothing he can really do to avoid the loss of a teammate there, but again, they got further towards the circle. I don't think they would have imagined themselves getting in there with 3 up, but for Summer, for Ike's left to try and make this cross now with just them two, it's going to be incredibly difficult.
Now the rest of Luna, the last two members, Haven and Kraken, trying to just find an opportunity, a way in, and that knock on Ike's left will help him. Nades coming out, as well as quite a bit of utility. The approach is there if they can just get rid of Summer.
Yep, Ike's left down. Summer almost dismantled as well as Kraken tries to see if he can take him down on the other side. He still has Haven inside the circle. There's not much space for them to really maneuver, but he has to clear his west side first. I love the priority that we're seeing here from Luna Galaxy. They know, yes, we're not inside the circle, but we don't want to share the space with them either. We got to tank a bit of blue. We got to set up for the circles to come, and we can only do so if we deal with Petrichor Road.
It's the exact opportunity we were talking about just a moment ago, and so they at least have somewhat of a safe haven, no pun intended there, just on the north side. They're going to have a few ridges to play, but the biggest issue is still going to be 4AM and Na'Vi. Looks like BB has found their way on the east side, but still contesting with Cerberus.
And to go off what we were saying before, look at the circle. Look at how much space 17 Gaming has on the southern side. Because
it's absurd.
Teams have not been able to look south, and in all fairness, this is the best case scenario for everyone, maybe even including 17 Gaming. They have no one behind them. They know that for a fact now, and now the teams to the north can stay up here. They can fight their way forward as nades get closer and closer to Bestalon.
And most importantly, they don't have to deal with that field that 17 was just sat in. They do have quite a bit of ridges to work with. As long as they can just get there, Bestalon will find Duckmy, and that's a pretty big knock there for BB Team.
Duckmy was pushing forward to try and deal with Bestalon, but forced back by Luna Galaxy. He hears the footsteps on the roadside. Bestalon peeks on over, finds him with his back turned, and now gets the flush on him as well. So nice reaction play from Bestalon, who had very limited things to really work with on that side of the road.
Yeah, but the problem for him right now is he's very far from his team, and not sure if he has a vehicle. He's still trying to do as much damage as possible before he potentially does go down. As it looks like he does have, oh, never mind. That is not the Bronco you want to be taking in this situation. So Cerberus will fortunately move away. He might have a window, but Na'Vi is still watching.
How does 17 react to this if Cerberus swings all the way south side? Haisaki, Sololzi trying to make the play on in. Haisaki had a phenomenal start to yesterday's games. We'll see if they can continue the same trajectory here. It's just them two alive. Full level 3 gear on Sololzi to potentially keep them in this race for a little while longer.
Yeah, but look at the problem. It's Suju. He's very actively looking on the east side, looking in their direction.
Oh, they heard the cars too, yeah.
And they definitely heard the cars. And 4AM, Na'Vi, for all the circles they didn't get yesterday, are very happy that they've pretty much been in a catch-9 situation in this game.
Oh yeah, definitely so. They would not want it any other way. 4AM now, again, still 4 alive, not in a hurry whatsoever. I'm surprised that they have opted to play this passively, but of course, that every time you peek out in any given direction in this dip, you're mean, your head just have a big circle around it going, shoot me, shoot me, shoot me. So, you know, I might want to take back what I said. It makes perfect sense to me now
exactly.
that I think
And they
about
tried.
it,
I mean,
they've been more passive.
They have tried with, especially with that Petrichor fight up to their north. They did poke their head outs, but also Valley Thai with angles as well have really been shutting them down. And so that's a nice position for them as well. Valley Thai will be able to move east as the circle closes and just move ridge to ridge. And so they put themselves in a very good position for this as Summer will throw what he can and fall.
I was going to say, if he gets one with that second nade, that would be so rude. Just taking one down with him. Haisagi will go to blue now on the southern side of the circle. As they try to creep for the forward, you might just want to deny here, but no, the point will go over to Phil first. Cerberus down as we hit top 6.
17 now, starting to become in the crosshairs of Valley Thai. And Unique will find Xiao Wu. That's the first member of 17 to get knocked here as they're only down to 2 left. And again, Valley Thai with a wide spread, actually keeping it a 2-2 split, looking at both 4AM and 17.
I mean, widespread, but playing full control there. I mean, the fact that Latai and Kiss can effectively just force 4AM to do nothing, they have played this west side of the circle for the last 3-4 circles incredibly well.
And it's a problem for 4AM because with the position in the circle like this, you want to flex out. You want to be able to get those kills, but they really haven't been able to do so.
Nope, their understanding of what to prioritize at any given moment has been absolutely perfect. Now Sushu will fall as well. Knock comes through from Bestalok, but Megalos says, thank you, I'll take that one.
This is a hell of a start for Valley Thai. Is Na'Vi now just slightly having to move, at least some of the members like Hakatori and Sosed, but still so much control in that compound. Now the onus really is on to BB. Are they going to move more into the crosshairs of Valley Thai? And you still have that snake of little ghosts in the south.
You have Bestalok just on the edge of the circle, trying to get at least a bit of a foothold for the rest of the boys. Get inside the circle. Spiro looking on the southern side as well, trying to potentially do some sort of a sweeping play down around the southern side, over towards Little Ghost, further towards the west, but I'm not sure if they're going to full commit to it, because I think they know that there might be a Na'Vi player or two peeking over the ridge line, should they opt to give it up.
But this is also the issue if you're a team like Na'Vi in the center of the circle. They really haven't been able to get much in the way of points. Nope. I mean, yes, they've had the best position. Yes, you're safe, but even for a team like Na'Vi who does like to flex out and who does like to go more aggressive, they've kind of been shoehorned into staying there.
I mean, if to put it into perspective, if they fall here, it's a 5-point game. It's definitely not amazing, should they go, but I definitely do not believe that they will be the next team to fall, especially not now. We see Little Ghost under fire. 17 Gaming will be taken out. I like the ideas of them, like their approach to the initial fights. They were able to survive in that longhouse for a while with a lot of chaos happening around them, but in the end, they will fall in 6th.
Yeah, maybe the adaptation there was just trying to play a little more aggressive on Valley Thai when they still had 3 members up, but that's for their analysts to talk to them after this game. Meanwhile, Bet Boom now starting to make their move on the southwest side into the sightlines of Megvalos, as Luna now have to make somewhat of a trek. There still might be a little bit of that dip in, but they're currently being bombarded with quite a bit of utility.
Blue Zoneception is upon us as Luna Galaxy somehow. 2 players able to stay alive. Oh, the peek on over from Godv. They both caught it. Nice timing on that one. Xiao Pian fighting the other direction now too. Now 4AM is starting to try and creep out of this pit. They find themselves in, but Kraken is able to find 2.
Kraken really fighting back here. He's already knocked out Godv. Bobo down to just 1 HP, and finally they will deal with Luna, but that was a lot of damage done, and here is the flex out from Na'Vi.
Exactly, now is when Latai has to make a decision. Do I go for Kiss? Do I try and punish 4AM? But no, he has to fall back, especially now the BB team is pushing on the other side.
BB team now with an opportunity here to take control of the south side of the circle, and that would give them quite a bit of room to flex, especially towards 4AM. Never mind, they will fall.
Yep, all taken down. Ferris locks it in. 6 kills now for Na'Vi as they start flexing out of that position. A lot of damage was done by Valatai towards 4AM, but it's going to be Na'Vi to sweep around to clean them up, and they now find themselves in an EMEA sandwich. Valatai, that is, with BB team on one side, Na'Vi on the other.
That's a very good point. They were so comfortable earlier with all that control, but now that there's no more 4AM for Na'Vi to contend with, they can really flex out. Fortunately, a knock will slow them down. Ferris will go down, but here comes Bet Boom. And if Valley Thai can hold off these 2 teams, that would be more than impressive.
In all fairness, I mean, if Kiss can do his job here, there might be a world where Na'Vi tries to backfill BB team on the ridge line and put them in a third-party position. So for Valley Thai right now, don't aggress, just hold them off. Of course, if you get a knock, you push on it. But until then, try and just fend them off and hope to dear God that Na'Vi comes and helps you out.
I am so impressed with the way that Valley Thai is playing this. Still cautious, still making sure they have control. They're not really giving up that much space. And in a situation like this, when you're fighting multiple teams, that is very difficult to do.
And it is Megalos peeking around the side. It's only heads that he can see on the other side, and he will take a bullet straight to the dome himself. Has to fall back, has to try and heal on up as Phil's first. Is really running through his util quite rapidly. They're down to just a couple left to play with. 3 flashes. Gotta commit them to this fight, you'd imagine.
And you can see it's just a cheeky little flare being fired off, but you can see Bestlock is very much worried about the team behind, which is Na'Vi starting to push up the backside of that hill. They have to be constantly aware as a lot of that pressure, as you said, Kiss doing his job.
With a win here, Na'Vi knows they're in. I don't think they're going to try and risk it for a potential kill or 2 extra. They want the win. They want to have Valentine and BP team fight one another. They don't want to engage before they see the action pop off in the kill feed. Wise on Na'Vi, play it smart. They understand where they're on the leaderboard in this group. Play it smart, get up on the ridge line, apply pressure, but do not over-engage.
At the very least, a very strong start for Bet Boom as Valentai's Unique will find Phil first. And so that's 1 to fall. And 1 trade goes back and forth. It's just Spyro.
They're taking out all of them. So far, no casualties taken. BB team will fall, and they have Na'Vi down to 2. They had their backs towards the blue, but they are fighting back. This Valentine team has so far played a phenomenal edge play. They've been playing slow, they've been playing quiet, but now they're playing with all thrusters on.
And Kiss has been unbelievable, but so said will finally find some sort of retaliation. Kiss backing up, and no! Just like that, Na'Vi will finish it in a 2v2 situation at the end. That happened so fast.
What a finish to that game. I had Valentine counted completely out when BP team started sweeping around the southern side. Na'Vi able to close it out, but I don't think it comes without a bit of a scare that Valentine was doing a little more than they thought they were going to there.
That was... that got very sketchy towards the end of that game. It ended up in 2 members left for each team, but a very quick cleanup. But man, what a hell of a job holding multiple teams off on that edge. I have to give it up to Valentine. That was more than impressive.
For teams looking to maybe incorporate some edge mid-game playstyles themselves, this can be a masterclass. Their ability and understanding of where to... Because they were stretched almost a kilometer with their players in fairly open terrain. Their understanding of where to be, to how to position their 3-1, their 2-2 splits whenever they did transition back and forth, incredibly well played. As we see here, Na'Vi, of course, the victors of the game, from no circles yesterday to all circles today. They'll be happy as they here, I should imagine, get themselves into the grand final.
And you have to give them credit as well.